Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. At the time of recording this, it is Thursday. Couldn't tell you the date. What is it, the 27th of February? And I wanted to pop in and share a little bit about one of the transit themes that I see unfolding, not just in the chart, but have certainly recognized in my own life and more globally. And as promised, this is sort of an explanation or exploration of some of the slower moving planets that can create some of the underlying frequencies and energies that we're currently working through. So for a good while now, for as long as I can remember in the last year, we've had in one form or another this configuration that has been giving us emotional manifestor definition through the 3536 channel. If I'm able to put a graphic up so you can see, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll post a video or a picture below this. But the 3536 is a channel that runs from the emotional solar plexus to the throat center. That's a motor to the throat, and as such, it creates manifestor conditioning. Or the manifestor energy type. Manifestors are defined by having a motor to the throat. And, I often call this the channel of crisis and chaos. Traditionally, it's called the channel of transitoriness, or the design of a jack of all trades. The ingredients that make up this channel is one half the gate 36, which traditionally is called the darkening of the light. It's this emotional energy that tends to cycle through highs and lows of either kind of miracle or catastrophe. This restlessness, this urge to have a new experience, to feel something new. It's the drive to feel. And feeling can be emotional, it can also be sensational, tactile, visceral. And as such, this is often a channel that's connected with sexual kink or sexual exploration, or even just throwing yourself into something new for the possibility of it bringing new sensation into your life. It connects with the gate 35, which is called the gate of progress or the gate of change. In quantum human design, it's called the gate of experience. And so together, this channel is really all about experiencing progress through your life through new experiences. Why it's called, why I call it the channel of crisis is because as an emotional channel, it's one that needs time to feel into what new experiences are correct and what new experiences may potentially lead to crisis or catastrophe. With emotional energy, depending on your authority, if you're throwing yourself into new experiences spontaneously based on wherever you're feeling in that emotional wave, you might enter into something expecting one thing only to find that, something very unexpected occurs. And so with this channel in general, there's always the theme or the advice of expect the unexpected. The feeling that you may be hoping to get out of the new experience might not be what you get, but you will grow through experience into a sort of a place of maturity or experience around something that then you can share with other people. So the gate 35 is a collective gate. This is a collective channel. It's about sharing your experiences with humanity so that we can expand collectively what's possible for humanity. Anything that we are able to express as a possibility in the world is because we've experienced it. And in order to expand possibilities, we have to be willing to step into new experiences, not just for ourselves, but so that we can kind of expand the human story of what's possible for all of us. So this is an abstract, sensing-based, experiential energy that is designed to expand the boundaries of the human story. But as such, that can also involve some crisis, that can involve some catastrophe. And so while this is playing out in the global aura, how I've experienced it personally is through a kind of inner restlessness that I've had to try new things. That's both played out like in my other work, like through intimacy and sex and connections, but even just in this, like creating this Telegram channel for folks. Because of that, there's often this sort of like restlessness to try the new thing, and also this fear of what if it doesn't work out the way that I'm expecting. And so again, the way to work with this energy as a manifestor energy is to feel into which urges are correct to follow and which urges may just be a spontaneous impulse. And so, as always with emotional energy, giving yourself the grace of time, to feel into, is this correct for me or not? And then also with the manifestor channels, even if you're not a manifestor, to not just throw yourself into the new experience or follow the urge, but first pause and inform. Like, who do you need to let know that you're going to do this before you go ahead and do this? Because this is an emotional channel that connects to the throat, it's also a channel that can find you just kind of blurting things out that you're feeling or feeling like doing, even if you're not quite sure you're going to do it. And that can also create some chaos in the expectations of others. Side note, this is one of Donald Trump's emotional waves. And we know from observing this man that he tends to blurt out things that he's going to do, which stirs this feeling of chaos and crisis in the world. Is he actually going to do that? Well, let's wait and see if he actually is going to do it. In many instances, he does. And in a lot of instances, he doesn't. And so while it's an energy that can kind of find you blurting out your feelings, understand that emotional energy is a wave, and what you might want to blurt out when you're at the top of that wave might be different than what you blurt out at the bottom of the wave. So as always, take your time, wait, see, feel into, is this really true for me? And then, of course, relative to your type and your actual strategy, follow your strategy. I guess I'll share, when I decided to start my journey with OnlyFans, this channel was in the transits. And I'm a sacral generator, I don't have emotional authority. But I did find that my gut was saying to something that I felt could potentially throw me into catastrophe or emotional crisis. And for about a month, I asked myself, or had people ask me, yes or no, is this correct for you? So that I could really feel into, is this a consistent yes, or is it a conditioned yes because this emotional energy is high or low? And what I found is that after a month, no matter where I was in that wave, even when I was imagining the potential crisis that could unfold in my life if I said yes to this, or the miracles that could come from it, it was a consistent aha. And so at a certain point, I realized it's correct to say yes to this. More globally, because this is in the global aura, and specifically it's in the North Node, the gate of crisis, or miracles. And the nodes give us a sense of what it is we're here to see as we look out into the movie of life. The trick with the nodes, I found, is to not let the movie suck you in unless it's correct, based on your authority, to get involved. We're all designed to see the movie of life play out in different ways, but then certainly as we move through the different transit themes, we're going to be watching these themes also kind of collectively. And so the gate 36 currently is in the North Node in the 6th line, role model line. And I'm not going to go so much into the specific keynotes, but the overall lesson that I take away when I read the 6th line of the gate 36 is you're going to feel the potential for crisis and catastrophe. You're going to bear witness to a lot of crisis, chaos, and catastrophe in the world. Let it play out and know that the crises that you might be watching are actually the deterioration of something that's trying to extinguish itself, that doesn't necessarily need your help. Doesn't mean that you're not going to feel about it, doesn't mean that you're not going to bear witness to it, but if you just sort of let go and allow these antagonistic forces to burn themselves out, they eventually will extinguish without you getting involved. Now, if it's correct for you to get involved, if you're a generator and you're being, asked or called out, or you're responding and it's correct, it's not to say be complacent, but know when you might be trying to get your hands in things and fix things because you are trying to avoid a potential emotional collapse. And when it's okay to just wait, to feel, to let that wave crash, to see life from the bottom of that wave, and also, see life from the top of that wave, from the catastrophe to the miracle and everything in between. The theme this week is very much about our agreements in relationship, and also about our ability to maintain our own kind of inner peace regardless of what's going on around us. And that doesn't mean you're always going to feel like you're in a state of inner peacefulness, but it does mean that when you're not going to go out and try to get your relationships to change to solve the inner conflict you're experiencing. So right now, the North and South Node are very much in this configuration, and even the Sun Earth, that are exploring kind of the themes of war and peace, crisis and a miracle. And The invitation for us personally is to really look at where we are in sort of a state of inner conflict or at war within ourselves. And then, that's what essentially we bring out into the world, right? Or not. So trying to get the world, trying to fix the world to resolve the conflict we experience within ourselves may not work. Resolving the conflict within ourselves may allow us to see the conflict in the world more clearly and to know when it is within our dharma, our purpose, our path, to involve ourselves in helping and supporting, and when perhaps it's our role to simply bear witness, to feel, and to kind of wait to respond in the way that's correct for us. So takeaways, take away from this what you will, but just want to give you the invitation to really expect the unexpected, enter into things based on your strategy and your authority for the experience itself, not necessarily because it's going to lead to the outcome that you are anticipating, both positive or negative. And perhaps I'll do a separate video on Pluto and Aquarius and how that feeds into this, but there's also kind of an adrenalized drive right now to dream, right? So dreaming doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to figure out what I'm going to manifest and make it happen. It's really about enjoying the dream itself. So that can look like channeling your imagination into art, into creativity, into kind of envisioning the world you want to live in or the world that you yourself would like to one day create. And then giving yourself the grace to not have to know how to make it happen right now. Right, so there's a big invitation in the transits right now to dream, to envision, to imagine, to let the old world crumble and fall away, to not pressure yourself to figure out how you're going to make your dream come true, but really to get comfortable with the sort of liminal space of dreaming that we're in right now that ultimately and eventually will lead us into the progressive new experience when the time is right. So I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, comments, not sure if you can reply in these channels, but certainly engage with this and give me your feedback if you feel so inclined to do so. And try and stay sane and be good to yourself. The invitation this week as well is to really take time to take care of yourself in whatever way will best nourish you, to stay sustainable, to stay generous, and to stay in a frequency of peaceful abundance. So love you all. Thanks for being here. Peace out.